Hey, you guys, this is Christina with leadsandleverage.com, and I'm coming at you today with another Rivet Show episode. How was your holiday? What did you guys do? If you're in the US, it was Independence Day, and then a couple days before that, if you're from Canada, it was Canada Day. So what I want to know is, what'd you guys do? How did you celebrate the holiday? What kind of things you did? So if you're watching this in replay, let me know. That'd be awesome. And for my replay watchers, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Let me know that you're here down in the comments, and excuse me, and let me know where you're watching from. I'm loving seeing where all you guys are watching from. I love seeing that. I love knowing kind of where you guys are located, and what videos you're really interested in listening to, and what you're interested in learning more about. So thank you for joining me. And today's topic, we're gonna a little bit different. Today we're gonna talk about, first of all, why you got into real estate. So I wanna know why you got into real estate. Freedom, flexibility, finances. It's usually one of those three or all three of those. That's usually why people ultimately get into real estate. But then how to stay focused on your why, despite the pull of the industry. And boy, oh boy, does our industry pull us to conflict with and to not live the way we want to live. Excuse me. I was blowing off the dust on my mouse pad. I have no idea it was on there, but I needed to see the comments that you guys have on the computer. Sorry. So I don't miss your comments and stuff. Anyway, one of the things that I find very interesting is that as a real estate industry, as people, we get into real estate because, like I said, freedom, flexibility, and finances. But then we get into real estate and, we become a little disillusioned because we're supposed to be doing all this stuff, and this for this amount of time, and this for this amount of time. And then we're supposed to be available 24/7, and we're supposed to work weekends, and da 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 da. And pretty soon the pull of the industry almost has us brainwashed, and we're kind of tense and frustrated, and we don't know why. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to give you some tips, some things that I've learned, just different things like that. So that's kind of awesome. Hello, you guys. Welcome for watching, or thank you for watching live. Welcome. Let me know where you're from. Where are you popping in from? And let's see, what I do. Today's question is actually going to be related directly to the topic. So, we're going to be talking about, why you got into real estate, and then how to make that why happen. Chicago. I was there for about 6 months, many years ago. And one of my, I'm a kind of a wanderlust person. And, I spent 6 months in Chicago, just outside in Schaumburg. And that was one of the places I wanted to visit. I wanted to live in all the cities, all the big cities in the United States, and I've just about done it. So, yeah, that was the younger me. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about my question of the day, guys. For you guys is, let me know that you're here. So tell me where you're from. So my question for you is, since we're talking about why you got into real estate, was it one of these three reasons? Did you get into real estate for freedom, flexibility, or finances? Any one of those three, all three? So that's the question of the day. Why did you get into real estate? Was it for that? And step beyond I want to help people buy houses. You wouldn't do it for free. So, think about the real underlying reason. Did you think maybe it worked to be fun, work with your schedule? That's flexibility, etc. So tell me why you got into real estate: freedom, flexibility, or finances, or something else. And then we're going to kind of talk about how to keep that energy, that desire in the forefront, and how not to get just overwhelmed by the industry, and by our colleagues, our brokers, our franchises, all pulling us all different directions and telling us what we should do and why we should do it and how to do it. So I want to talk about that. So question of the day, I see Jerry joined. Frankie had the missing piece. Awesome. So welcome, you guys. And so we're going to I really kind of want to do this. I want to talk about this. So the reason that this, and this is going to be a little bit more of an interactive one. I don't have like a 4 steps that I'm going to give you. I do have some tips and stuff, but I don't have like an agenda, quote unquote. I wanted to talk about this because I really think that this whole topic is at the core of why we succeed and why we fail in real estate. So I really wanted to talk with you guys about that because my goal in all of this is to help agents succeed. And the problem is that as an industry whole, we have this idea that someone needs to be a certain personality and devote a certain amount of time to succeed. And I want to, it's wrong. It's the wrong image that we have, but it's the image that we kind of, put up on a pedestal and just say yes. So I want to talk about that. So you guys tell me why coachable. Exactly. So Jerry's flexibility and finances, that's exactly why we were in it, and the freedom. Our kids were young when I started. It seemed like a good fit. Yeah, it is, Jerry. I mean, our kids were younger too. When we got in fact, when I got into real estate, we didn't even have kids. But we stayed in it because of the flexibility. It just allowed us to, gosh, our time, in a sense, we like to think that our time is our own. We worked to make it our own, but, we had a lot of flexibility. We could go to their different events. We could be available for all the different things and stuff. So it was really nice. Hi, Mike, you got in. Good. Hi, Myra. Mike said, a combination of freedom, flexibility, and money. I like being out on the boulevard and doing something different every day. That's kind of cool. I figured I can make money doing anything, but I wanted to give something to some others. Yes. See, there's all of these pieces to it, but typically it's freedom or flexibility and or finances. It's one of those or combinations of those. Well, awesome, Frankie. I can't see your logo. I can barely see your logo, but it looks like you help people with credit issues so that they can get mortgages. Is that right, Frankie? Yeah, you guys. So let's talk about this. The core piece that really got me thinking about this, or not really thinking about it, but deciding to share it with you, was somebody actually sent me a message and they said, I don't know how I can do this. I don't know how do you choose to build your business your own way when I've got my broker telling me I need to do one thing and I have to follow the rules of, our association, and I have to do this, and I've got buyers calling and I'm told that if I don't follow up on leads within 5 minutes that I'm going to lose them. How do I do this? I don't understand. Why do I have to work? I don't want to work Sundays. I'd really like to have Sundays off, but that's when we're supposed to be doing our open houses. And, every Wednesday we have a team meeting in the morning, but I'd really like to go to my church has a women's Bible study. And this was what this person was struggling with. That's why I wanted the freedom. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yes, we all struggle with that. We all have our things. We all have our different pieces that we need, and we feel like we're in conflict and we have to give up. And, that's where I really want to talk to you guys about this. When you choose to build your real estate business your way, it actually gives you freedom. But ironically enough, you have to set boundaries. So in the beginning, you kind of feel like you're constraining yourself, but what you're actually doing, and I'm going to tell you how, what you're actually doing is you're constraining others, not you. You're constraining them and their demands on your time, and you're freeing yourself to live out the time the way you want to live it out. So I'm going to talk about that. It's really powerful. Claudia, hi Claudia. I enjoy listening to you. I love real estate as it gives me so many opportunities to connect with people from different backgrounds. Yeah, that's really cool too. Oh my goodness. We've met so many amazing people from just all over the world, from celebrities to not celebrities, because I don't think the people who aren't celebrities I'm not a celebrity, and so for celebrities to others, just, it's amazing. I like that. And the stories and the journeys and where they've been, from people who have only moved, maybe 5 miles their entire life to people who have moved across countries. It's amazing. The different stories and different backgrounds and stuff. I agree. So let's do this, you guys. Let's talk about some of the things that you face and some of the things you can be doing to to have control over your life, your boundary. And here's something that one of the reasons this is kind of near and dear to my heart. I have a coach, and it's actually a performance coach, not a business coach. And he was telling me, I was really kind of battling with the idea of time blocking. I was like, I don't want to be controlled. And if I'm not in the mood, I don't want to be controlled. And I've battled with that for, oh my gosh, my entire business life. So, I battled with that. But what's ironic is in 2009, my husband and I decided that, you know what, we're just going to follow Dave Ramsey. And what we did was we said, okay, that's it. We're getting rid of all of our credit. We're cutting everything up, and we're just going to set budgets and put us under these, what we've decided how to spend our money. And so it's funny because, I was like, well, yeah, it gives me total control. Budgeting and doing that gives me total control. And when I said that to my coach, he was like, well, don't you think budgeting your time would give you control, not take it away? And it was one of those light bulb moments of, okay, duh, that's true. So when he was talking about it, I was like, you're right, that's true. But in order to effectively control your time, you need to know what you want to be doing and what you want to be doing within your time. So for example, if you don't want to work Sundays, you have to set that boundary, and you have to stick to it, and you have to make no apologies for it. You can be kind. You don't have to give a reason why, but you need to set that boundary. In fact, the person I go to for my hair, she was saying, she's like, you know, her husband died a little over a year ago. And she was like, I'm not controlling my time well. I'm exhausted. I'm this, you know, she's 60, she'll be 65 in November. She doesn't want to retire. She loves what she does. But here's the thing, she's feeling controlled by everybody else. And I said, you know, you need to decide what it is you want. Do you want to be off at a certain time every day? Do you want a certain day of the week off? It doesn't have to be Saturday and Sunday. What if you want Tuesdays off in the middle of the week? Then you need to block it out. I said, the hardest piece, you guys, the hardest piece to all of this is not giving in to other people's demands on your time. That is really the hardest piece, is remembering why you want it. So for example, in real estate, we're not going to work Sundays. We did not want to work Sundays. So we didn't. We decided not to work Sundays. Now that was a little hard. Now we didn't do open houses. But what would happen is, because our niche was out-of-state owners, and we'd get owners coming in to the area to see the properties that they had purchased. So they were either second homeowners or vacation homeowners, usually investment property owners, which it's actually easier to schedule to see investment properties during the week when the tenants are out at work than it is on the weekends, which really, really worked well. So, that worked well for our schedule. So often people would schedule and make sure that they were in town on a Friday or a Monday. And if we just said, oh, I'm sorry, we're not available on Sunday, it always worked. It was always okay because people understood. And the tiny number of people who didn't understand, they weren't someone that we were willing to work with because they wanted to control our time. And you have to be okay with saying goodbye to those, because saying goodbye to people that are not a good fit for you, you're opening yourself up to people who are. And I know that concept is there, but we just forget it. We're like, well, but that means I won't have anybody here. But that means you're going to be open and available for the person who does come along. So when you choose to build your business your way, you get freedom. You set your boundaries, you get freedom, and you know, you're going to have freedom from franchise demands, from brokers, etc. And we're going to address that. So the first thing you need to do is decide what do you want your days to look like? What do you want your weeks to look like? For us, it was absolutely, I was going to work from home whenever I wanted. Our kids went to a private school. They went to school 4 days a week. They had Fridays off. So regardless of what happened, I was always available for them. And then Chuck, he made sure he never worked past 6. That was just not past 6, not on Sundays, and we didn't do open houses. That was our choice. You can do whatever you want for your choice, but that was our choice because you know what it did? It freed us up. And he worked really hard when he worked with buyers. Sellers were easy. I could do the listing appointment. We could do the listing appointments fast and easy. And quite honestly, most of our listings were out-of-state owners. So we didn't have to go see them in the evenings or go see them on the weekends. But that was our choice. But buyers, yeah, a lot of Saturdays. But when you talk to people, they take weekdays off for their dental appointments. They would take weekdays off for their hair appointments. Why can't they take a weekday off to do a buyer looking for houses? When you talk to them and say that's what you have, that's a bigger thing. It's a bigger purchase. They take time off during the week when they're working to get their tires changed, get oil changes, because that's when businesses are open. So you need to remember that you're a business too, and you can make adjustments, but you do need to set boundaries, whatever those boundaries are. Don't let someone else control you. The other issue, and that's the consumer controlling you. Here's the other thing, and I know a lot of you guys are up against this. You're up against your brokers, and brokers have an idea of how they think your business should be run. And if you're a new agent, you're probably being told to do open houses. You're probably being told to be at the broker tours or the office meetings or things like that. So here's the deal. I'm not giving you license to just go home and, I don't know, eat bonbons and watch soap operas. Are they even on anymore? Soap operas? Anyway, that's not the point of this. The point of this is to say that it's not always the best use of your time. So if you are not going to do open houses, fine. How are you going to lead generate? I was not going to do open houses and I was not going to pound the phone. I found other ways to lead generate. I found other ways to bring in business to our business. So you need to decide what that is. And you remember, you don't work for your broker. You guys, you are self-employed. You do not work for your broker. You remember that. I cannot tell you how many agents would say, I have an interview with XYZ broker, meaning they felt like they were being interviewed. And I'm like, why are you being interviewed? You're the one who needs to interview them. You need to find out what they're like, what kind of training they have, etc. You need to find out if the atmosphere is a good one, if the environment's a good one, if it's going to be nurturing, if it's going to help you grow, help you expand. So remember, I know it's weak, you guys. Sorry about that. So remember, you are your own business. Because you're real estate, you need to be associated with a broker, but you're your own business. That means you set your own schedule. That means, you need to be producing something because the broker does have a vested interest in you because they're probably, they're taking an ethical chance on you. If you screw up, they're responsible. But remember that you're the one who is self-employed. You're the one who should be interviewing them. So some brokers are a little more stubborn about this. Others are a little more flexible about this. So just remember, when you interview the broker, to them without guiding them. So when you're talking to your broker, what's natural to them? You might just have to be kind of firm and plant your flag in the sand or in the ground and just say, I'm not going past here. Sorry about the weak connection. I'm going to type this in here because you guys are talking about it. Okay. Yeah, so you turned to... Hi, guys. I know you kind of lost me. I said refresh the browser, so hopefully you're getting this again. Let me know in the comments that you're back with me. Let me know in the comments that we're back and that you've refreshed the browser because that helps a lot. I want to make sure you guys heard that, got that. Sorry for the delay. I'm gonna wait a minute while I hear that. So definitely comment after you refresh. Just let me know, you're here, you're back, we're all good. I've got a strong internet again. Got it, guys? Oh, I'm getting some responses. Good. Yay. Okay, good. All right, good. Okay, so I know it's harder with your brokers. I was saying that and I can't remember the exact word. I was gonna pause for a second, then it took too long. So just remember that they do have a vested interest in you. However, it's your business, okay? So you just have to stand firm wherever that is. So here's the thing. You're going to come up against, if you set your boundaries, whatever your boundaries look like, if it's like, I don't care if you want to be a part-time agent and sell 2 homes a year, or if you want to be a mega agent and sell 2,000 homes a year, you're going to have your boundaries and you're going to have the way you want to do your business. As long as it's ethical and moral and you're not, breaking any laws according to whatever your state laws are for real estate, then build the business your way, whatever that looks like. And that's the beauty of real estate, that flexibility. It's not just time flexibility. It's also how we want to work, how we want to run our days, how we, want to lead generate, all that kind of stuff. So don't let someone else come along and tell you that you have to do it this way. The biggest thing that I always see real estate agents say is, oh yeah, you have to be on 24/7. You do? No, I don't think so. You don't need to be on 24/7. And for those people who are telling you that you better follow up on those leads within 5 minutes, let me tell you something. Most agents don't follow up on any leads at any time. So if you don't follow up with them in 5 minutes, but you do in 5 hours, you still got a big, huge chance with those leads. So just make it fit your schedule. Because I'll be frank, I am not following up with leads at 8 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not doing it. My dad would. My dad's a total early bird. He's all like totally out at Home Depot and Lowe's early in the morning. He's at lead generating he's like a super outgoing. Not anymore. He's retired, but that's what he did. And he would call people at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh no, not me. But again, his business, his way. The type of people he worked with were a lot of construction, a lot of developers, things like that. So they were up early. That worked for all of them. So just make sure that however you build it, it works for you. A perfect example. So one of the things, so we think that we have to be available, Sundays and Saturdays and we have to work at night and stuff like that. You don't have to. You have to know that once you set your boundary, you're going to come up against resistance. So I don't always share my boundaries with people. I don't tell people. For a while, we were telling people, no, we don't work Sundays. And I'm not talking about my customers, our clients. Our clients never had an issue with it. It was the other agents that got pissed off about it. I'm serious. They got mad about it. I'm like, well, dude, you are not my client and you're not my broker and you are not part of my business. Now, you need to have a good relationship with people, but my point is that they wanted to control my time and my time's not available for them to be controlled by them, for them to control. Hopefully that makes sense. So you need to set your boundaries and your biggest resistance is going to be your colleagues. Okay. But you need to set your boundaries. One thing that we implemented a couple of years ago was that in order to, we don't have a showing, well, now we do, but we didn't have a showing service back then. It wasn't available in our market. So people couldn't just call in and do the showings. They had to call the brokerages and then actually call the agent, which was like, so what we did was we had very clear instructions. Just text us. So we had one main number for our business and it was on a phone and we just said text for a showing. All we need to know is your name and when you want to go in. Schedule when you want to go in. That was it. Super easy for everybody. Agents balked. They did not like it. They didn't, I don't know. So if they called and left a message and we weren't listening to messages, especially on Sundays, they get pissed. They finally learned, guess what? You can get in just about any time because all the properties that we have, most of them, and because we worked with investors, most of them did not have tenants in them. So they were vacant and easy to show. They just had to have the code to get in. See, yeah, it's different now. But my point is that we were trying to train people to do things faster, that they could just text in and do something faster so that it would fit with both schedules. It takes a while. You're going to run up against somebody who doesn't like the way you do it. They think it should be done a certain way. You're going to run into people, and we still run into this, and this is crazy to me. You're going to run into people who need to hand deliver you the contract from their buyers or sellers. I've never understood that. Scan the sucker and email it to me. That's done. I can get it on my phone. I can take it on my iPad to my seller, to my buyer. I can send it. And most of them, because we deal with out-of-state owners, every single one of them, we always had to have scanned anyway and emailed. And so it was just kind of funny. So there's just a few things you're going to run into. Those are just examples of what we ran into. You're going to run into different things. My suggestion to you is really not to share your boundaries with your colleagues. You don't need to share your boundaries with your colleagues. It's not up to them to analyze them. You don't need their approval. It's your life. You don't need their really adherence to anything. This is your life. It's your business. So The other thing is, here's an example. Again, I'm doing it again. I'm kind of a little bit of a rebel, but I'm very, very careful. We adopted all 4 of our boys, and we adopted them all older. So here's the thing. When you adopt an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, you're you're acutely aware of how little time you have with those kids. You're also aware of how intense their lives were before. And you know that quantity of time is better than quote unquote short amount of time and quality. Quantity is better. Being with them is better. You need that. They need that. You need that relationship. So when you have 10 fewer years with your kids than everybody else, different things are a priority. So time is my priority. So freedom to have the time the way I want, which is how I'm building leads and leverage. I am not willing to be on the traveling speaker circuit. So I'm not at your conferences. I'm not at your, the different events and stuff like that. Every once in a while, I'll do one if it fits the family, if it fits how we want to live. But in general, I'm not at those. And that's okay. I maybe could have a bigger business if I was out doing that. I'm okay with not, because the reason I got into this was because I wanted to teach agents how to lead generate and build a business the way they want to build it, the way you guys want to build it. That's my passion. That's where it is. And I wanted to teach you. I was so excited about what we had achieved and what we had done that I wanted to share it with you guys. And that's what I did. It would make no sense. It would be a complete hypocrite of me to go on the speaker circuit. So I'm telling you, I'm building this business different. Be a complete hypocrite of me to go on the speaker circuit and be always away from my family and say, well, the reason that I got into real estate was so that I could have time with my family. And now I have a different business, but I don't have time with my family. That doesn't even make sense. Did I even make sense? I know in my head I did. So anyway, you guys, thank you for coming back. I know that the internet there was a little bit, or the live stream was a little bit funky. So you're going to come up against your brokers. Maybe. Probably. Because they have a way they like to do things. You're probably going to come up against your colleagues. The easiest thing to do, you guys, is to just set your boundaries and not announce them to anyone but yourself. And, of course, your family. So, question, now that I'm like off my little soapbox rant, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I got everything. I just want to make sure that you're not falling prey to others controlling your business, your time, your life. That's really what this whole Rivet Show episode was about, to empower you, to let you know that, yeah, you can do it. And no, you don't have to do it the way they say, and you don't have to be freaked out that, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to respond to this within 2 minutes, and I'm supposed to do this within that, and I'm supposed to do that within that. Guys, we're not saving lives here. Nobody's dying. Houses aren't being burnt. There's no floods. There's not anything. Yes, in a contract, time is of the essence, but if you get a contract on a Sunday, there's not a stinking thing they can do until Monday anyway. I mean, we need to take these things into perspective. Just a lot of stuff we kind of get that time is of the essence, or we get this urgency like we're, surgeons saving lives. And I'm not demeaning real estate at all. What I'm trying to say is, for us to get a perspective, we're helping people buy houses. And yeah, they want to know things. And yes, time is of the essence. But we're also not dying. If you can't get to something on a Sunday night, Monday morning works. It does. So that's another random thought in this whole thing. So what do you guys think? I mean, let me look back at the questions that were on here. I know several of you made comments and then our connection got weak. Let me see. Claudia said, yeah, there are always solutions to dealing with different schedules. I block out time for family. I set expectations right from the start. Yep. And a lot of times we don't even need to let people know what our boundaries are. We just, hey, I'm going to be in town on Sunday. Are you available? I'm not, but I am available on Monday. It's really that simple. I mean, it's that simple. And they say, no, I'll be gone. Then, okay. There are always some exceptions, but if we make every weekend an exception, then we're not setting a boundary. Mike says, I look at it like this. I pay the broker. They don't pay me. So I tell them within reason, obviously, yeah, when I will work. If their meetings are unproductive to me, then no meetings. Oh yeah, huge. We are, we never we went to a couple of the office meetings, and I'd always give them, when they change the format or do something, I'd give them another chance. But honestly, even the trainings in them were random and not very focused on what our next step was. And a lot of us do that. We go to a lot of trainings and we absorb all this stuff, and then we're overwhelmed, almost frozen to the point of inaction, and we don't actually implement, mostly because we're overwhelmed and frozen. So we go to all these trainings and think, oh my gosh, I've got to do this, this, this. Soon we have 500 things. So not going to the office meetings is kind of a good thing. It's kind of a good thing. It's not going to make or break your business. It's really not. It's just not. You'll learn about any major changes because they're going to pass it down the pipeline. It might be an office requirement. You might have to work through that. They can't require you. You're a subcontract. I mean, you're self-employed. You're a contractor. They cannot require you to be at a meeting or at an office. They can ask, but they can't require. And if it becomes uncomfortable, there are other brokers out there. I promise. Claudia says, I always offer another alternative. You cannot always be available. Exactly. After all, you could be with another client. I think it helps being confident in your approach. It does. Yep. And setting your boundaries and just say, I'm not available. And being firm, not with them, with yourself. And just say, no, it's okay. I need to live. This is also, guys, this is also a mindset adjustment, because it's the difference between living from a place of abundance versus a place of scarcity. So if you're afraid that you're not going to get the next deal, or you're really worried about where your next meal is going to come from, or, you're worried about, oh my gosh, if I don't do this, I won't get that. You're living from a place of scarcity because there are more people out there. There are more deals out there. And, if you've got food in the fridge, you're not going to starve. So there's that. And when you live from a place of abundance, it's a different thought. It's a different mentality. It's a different process. You're like, oh, okay, great. I've got something to give to the world. Now I want to give it to the people who want it the most, not need it the most, who want it the most. There's a difference. Just because somebody needs it doesn't mean they want it. And that is, if you work with the homeless at all, that is a perfect example. Just because they maybe need some help, or they need a place to live, or they need food, does not mean that they want it. And so when you learn, was where I learned that lesson big time. You just need to communicate, relate to them and relate with them where they are. If they're not willing to have help right now, they're not willing to have help right now, but you need to relate with them where they are. And that's your consumers, that's you, that's your brokers, that's everybody. It's from that scarcity versus abundance. You've got it to give, but you can't just throw it at people because they don't want it. Some people do. The people who want it, that's who you get. Hey, you guys, sorry about that. Anyway, so there you go. And I'm going to go back and look through all the comments once this video's done. I can't catch them all. It's not catching all of them. So if you made more comments and I missed it, I'm sorry. I'll come back to you. So I'm going to wrap this up. So if you're watching this, let me know that you were here. Let me know where you're popping in from. And let me know, why you got into real estate. Was it freedom, flexibility, or finances? And if it's something else, let me know what that something else was. I really appreciate that. And I like to learn from you guys and I know why I got into real estate. I know why I'm doing leads and leverage, but I don't really know what your story is and the underlying reason why you're doing what you're doing. So here it is. It's a choice. How you want to build your business, it is a choice. You do have to set boundaries. You need to become firm with yourself, not necessarily other people, but firm with yourself. You don't have to give explanations. Don't make excuses, and just live how you want it to live. You need to be realistic too. I mean, if you're like, I only want to work 1 day a week and I want to sell 100 homes a year, you can do that. It's going to take a little bit of creative work on your portion. Figure out the pieces that you need to make that happen. That was a kind of an extreme example, but you need to figure out the pieces that you need to make that happen. You can make your schedules on and off. I've used this example before, but I used to work with an agent who was in Michigan, and for the first he was divorced and he had his kids for the second 6 months of the year. So July 1st to December 31st, he had his kids, his daughters. And the January 1st through June 30th, he did not have his daughters. And guess what? He was in real estate. So what he did was he worked his you-know-what off January 1st to June 30th. From July 1st to December 31st, he did not work. He took referrals from whatever was left. He had somebody else running it and taking referrals from that because his priority was time with his daughters. So that's just an example. It's another example of how somebody else had built the real estate business for them around their schedule, around their life. So you can do it. You just need to determine what it is you actually want. Yeah, okay, drinking Mai Tais on the beach and just rolling in the dough, not so much. You're going to have to work, but you might be able to do that every other week and work every other week or take 6 months off. I know agents who, in fact, I know one agent, she is here in Coeur d'Alene 6 months out of the year. The other 6 months out of the year, she's in Puerto Vallarta. That's where she works, and she does real estate. So down there too. So there's all kinds of ways you can build your business. Shape it how you want to shape it. And don't let anyone else take that from you. That's your choice. Okay? All right. So thanks for coming, you guys. I'm going to sign off. I have a powwow with my members in just a little bit. Can't wait to talk to them. We're going to talk about email marketing and how to follow up with those home value leads that we get a lot of. So we're going to talk about that this afternoon. Have a fabulous day. I will see you. I don't believe the next episode is tomorrow. I think it's Friday. So I'll see you on Friday at the next Ribbit episode. Thank you.